My friends, every day, we wake up with 1,000 thoughts racing through our minds, some bright, some dark, some whispering fear, and some calling for courage. But let me remind you, you are not the voice in your head. You are the one who decides whether to listen. You are not your thoughts. You are their observer. Thoughts come and go like clouds, drifting across the sky of your mind. Some are bright and soft, full of hope and clarity. Others are dark and heavy, filled with doubt, fear, or anger. But the sky does not belong to the clouds. No matter how stormy it gets, the sky remains untouched, vast, and unbroken. In the same way, you remain untouched by the thoughts that pass through you. You are the awareness behind them, the calm witness observing their rise and fall. Most people live as if their thoughts define who they are. When fear appears, they say, "I am afraid." When sadness comes, they say, "I am broken." But this is not truth. Fear and sadness are experiences, not identities. They visit for a time, and they leave when they are no longer fed by attention. The moment you begin to see thoughts as events instead of facts, you free yourself from their control. You realize that your mind is not a prison, but a landscape constantly changing, and you are the one watching from above. Imagine sitting by a river, watching leaves float past. Each leaf is a thought, a memory, a worry, a plan, a judgment. Some catch your eye and you follow them down the stream. Others you ignore. The trouble begins when you grab onto a leaf and refuse to let go. You get dragged by the current of your own mind. The more you resist, the more turbulent the water becomes. But if you simply watch, if you let the thoughts pass, the water clears and peace returns. Your power lies not in controlling every thought, but in choosing which ones deserve your attention. When you see a negative thought rise, a whisper of, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll fail again," pause. Watch it. Don't fight it, don't believe it, just observe it. The thought will try to pull you in, to convince you it's real. But the moment you see it for what it is, a passing cloud, a ripple on the surface, it begins to lose its strength. Awareness transforms everything it touches. The simple act of observing a thought without judgment is an act of freedom. It breaks the illusion that you must believe everything your mind tells you. The mind will always speak. It will always produce stories, fears, and predictions. That is its nature. But awareness is deeper than thought. It is the quiet space that exists before, during, and after every idea that appears. In that space, you find peace. In that space, you remember that no matter how many storms pass through your mind, the sky remains pure. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer, the witness, the calm eye within the storm, watching the clouds drift by, untouched, unbroken, and free. Pain is not your enemy, your reaction to it is. Pain itself is a messenger, a reminder of your strength, a teacher that arrives uninvited but never without purpose. Life was never meant to be free from discomfort. Growth requires tension, and wisdom demands experience. Yet we often treat pain as an intruder, something to be feared, avoided, or silenced. In doing so, we miss its lesson. What hurts you is not the event itself, but the story you tell yourself about it. Every challenge, every loss, every wound is neutral until the mind labels it as unbearable. It becomes suffering only when you resist what already is. When pain comes, the instinct is to escape. We distract ourselves, we complain, we run toward comfort. But in that running, we multiply our suffering. We give pain more life than it deserves. Resistance is the fire that turns pain into agony. Acceptance, on the other hand, is cool water. The moment you stop fighting your pain and allow yourself to feel it without judgment, it begins to lose its grip. Acceptance does not mean surrendering to defeat. It means seeing clearly, without distortion. It means saying, "This is what is," and meeting reality as it stands. The strongest souls are not those who never suffer, but those who face suffering without letting it define them. Pain can shape you without breaking you. It can carve away the unnecessary parts of your ego and reveal the core of who you are. Every hardship you endure refines you. It strips away illusions of control and teaches humility, patience, and resilience. What once seemed like punishment often becomes preparation. Pain reveals how much strength you truly hold, and it shows you the limits of your resistance so that you may grow beyond them. When you encounter pain, observe your reaction. Do you tense, curse, or pity yourself? Or can you pause and ask, what is this trying to teach me? The event is neutral. It is your perception that creates the suffering. Two people can face the same loss, the same failure, the same betrayal. One emerges bitter, the other wiser. The difference lies in their response, not in the event itself. Life will not always be kind, but it will always be honest. And pain is one of its most honest languages. To understand pain is to understand that peace is not the absence of difficulty, but the mastery of response. The storm may not end when you wish, but you can learn to stand still in the rain. You can learn to see pain not as a curse but as a signal, pointing you toward growth, endurance, and clarity. Pain will visit everyone, but suffering is optional. The moment you stop resisting, you transform pain into strength. The fire that once burned you becomes the same fire that forges your character. Control what you can, release what you can't. The only true power you have is over your actions and attitude. This truth is simple, yet most of life's suffering comes from forgetting it. We spend so much of our time trying to control the uncontrollable, other people's opinions, the weather, the past, the future, the outcome of our efforts. We tighten our grip on things that were never ours to hold. And the tighter we cling, the more anxiety, frustration, and disappointment we create for ourselves. Freedom begins the moment you understand that control is not about dominating the world. It is about mastering yourself. You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to steer your ship. Your thoughts, choices, and reactions belong to you. These are your tools, your true possessions. Everything else is borrowed, uncertain, shifting, and temporary. When you try to control what lies beyond your reach, you give away your peace. You hand your emotions to chance and let circumstances rule your state of mind. But when you turn inward and focus only on what you can govern, your discipline, your patience, your integrity, you become unshakable regardless of what happens outside you. Many people believe control means having power over situations or others. But real power is quiet. It is the strength to remain calm when life refuses to cooperate. It is the wisdom to act rightly without demanding that everything go your way. When you accept that you cannot bend the world to your will, you stop wasting energy on resistance and start directing it toward purpose. This is not weakness, it is clarity. It means you no longer fight battles that cannot be won, and instead, you conquer the only battlefield that truly matters, your own mind. Every day will present you with things that tempt you to react. Harsh words, unexpected losses, sudden change. You cannot prevent these, but you can choose your attitude toward them. You can respond with anger or with composure, with bitterness or with acceptance. That choice is where your power lives. Even in the most chaotic moments, you can decide to keep your dignity, your kindness, and your reason. The world may take away your comfort, but it cannot take away your character unless you surrender it. When you learn to release what you cannot control, you make room for peace. You stop fighting the wind and begin to adjust your sails. Life becomes less about struggle and more about harmony. You start to see that everything unfolds as it must, and your task is not to direct the current but to move wisely within it. True control is not about having everything go your way. It is about staying centered when it doesn't. And the person who can do that possesses a kind of freedom no force can break. Silence your inner chaos with reason. When emotions rise, pause and return to clarity. Discipline the mind. Peace will follow. The world outside may be noisy, unpredictable, and full of pressure, but the true storm often rages within. Thoughts clash, emotions surge, fears whisper, and desires pull you in 1,000 directions. In such moments, clarity feels distant. Yet peace is never found by silencing the world. It is found by calming your own mind. The greatest strength you can develop is the ability to stay composed when everything around and within you demands a reaction. Emotions are natural, but they are not always truthful. Anger may feel like justice, fear may feel like caution, and sadness may feel like truth, but these are only interpretations created by a restless mind. If you let emotions lead without reason, they will drag you wherever they please. You will say words you regret, make choices that betray your principles, and lose sight of what truly matters. But if you pause, even for a moment, and let reason speak before reaction, you regain control. The pause between emotion and response is where wisdom lives. When anger rises, ask yourself, will this serve me? When fear speaks, ask, is this real or imagined? When sadness lingers, ask, What can I learn from this? These questions create distance between you and your feelings, allowing clarity to return. Emotions are waves, strong, temporary, and constantly changing. Reason is the shore, steady, unmoving, and safe. When the waves crash, do not fight them. Simply remember the shore is always there. Return to it through stillness and awareness. Discipline of the mind is not coldness. It is mastery. It means refusing to be a slave to impulse. It means understanding that not every emotion deserves action. Not every thought deserves belief. A disciplined mind is not one without emotion, but one that governs emotion with understanding. Such discipline requires practice, through reflection, patience, and restraint. Each time you choose calm over chaos, you strengthen the muscle of inner control. Peace is not a gift that arrives from outside. It is the reward of a well-trained mind. When you think clearly, you act clearly. When you act clearly, your life aligns with reason. And when reason leads, peace follows naturally. No storm of emotion can last forever, but a disciplined mind endures through all seasons. In that endurance lies true freedom, the kind that cannot be shaken by insult, loss, or fear. The mind is both the source of turmoil and the key to tranquility. If you learn to govern it with reason, no circumstance can steal your calm. When emotions rise, do not drown in them. Stand still, breathe, and return to clarity. For when the mind is disciplined, peace is not something you chase, it is something you become.